Welcome everybody to this hybrid meeting of the Angus Council Licensing Board. I would like to remind all attendees that this meeting is being recorded and webcast live on the Council's YouTube channel. I would remind all remote attendees to mute their microphones when not speaking. Thank you. If we start with item 1, apologies for absence.
Yes, Convener, there's apologies from Councillor Melville, and we've got Councillors Durno, Councillors Gavin Nicholl and Councillor Scott joining us remotely. The rest of the members are in the chamber. Thank you.
Item 2, declarations of transparency. Are there any declarations? No declarations. Thank you. Item 3 is minute of the previous meeting. This was the meeting held on the 11th of January 2024. Can we agree these as a true record? Yes. Thank you. Item 5. Item 4. Premises licence request to vary under Licensing Act 2005. And the first one is item A, the Black Horse in Montrose. I'll just catch up with the page number. So, as I said, this is the Black Horse Inn, 84 Murray Street, Montrose, and it's appendix to LB4 of 24. And the applicant is Mr. Gordon Alexander Allen. In this one, we also have an LSO report, which is attached as our plans. I'll start with asking Mr. Allen, would you like to speak to your application, Mr. Allen?
Hi, good morning. The application is for the flat that's upstairs in the Black Horse. It's a separate flat which you can access from Lower Hall Street and not 84 Murray Street where the pub is. We're putting it into a short-term lease flat. Previously it was a flat for Airbnb.
Okay. Can I now move to the LSO? Is there anything you'd like to add to that?
Thanks, Convener. This report wasn't actually written by myself. I wasn't in it at the time the report was submitted, so I've got nothing further to add to the report that's been submitted.
Thanks, Convener, and thanks for coming along and telling us about it. I was going to be asking the question about access to the flat, and it seems to be, but you've already explained it as quite separate. I suppose my question's maybe for LSO, in terms of the licensing coming to here rather than just a short-term let licence. Maybe you can explain why that's the case.
Thanks, Councillor. The applicant has basically looking to vary their operating plan to include accommodation as part of their alcohol and service delivery within the premises. That would make it an excluded accommodation for STL purposes. And there are questions sometimes, you'll see that that's been raised by the LSO as to the reasoning about the accommodation being changed. Is it to take away from the STL approach rather than go down that road? So that's the consideration that the LSO flagged up for you.
Councillor Breeze.
Yes, thanks for coming along today. I just wondered, it's not entirely clear to me from the plans in here, is there actually access to the flat from the public area? Or is the only access round the corner? And
Hi. There's no access from the public area. The only access to the flat is from a ground floor main access door from Lower Hall Street.
Any other questions from members? I have some questions, and they're based on the LSO report, sorry. There's a statement in here that the current licence terms do not permit children and young persons to be allowed entry to the premises when alcohol is being sold. Now, I'm assuming from that, but you can keep me right, that the premises are the public house and the property above.
Yeah, if the variation was granted, they would come under the licensed premises, yes.
That being the case, then would there need to be a change to the actual licence granted? Because I'm assuming that if you let the flat, children might actually be with family in that flat.
I think that's probably a question for the applicant.
Okay, can you possibly address that?
There shouldn't be any children in the flat because we're looking at short-term contractors that are working in Montrose at the moment, that in the windmill area offshore and at GlaxoSmithKline.
Yeah. Sorry, Councillor Whiteside.
Thanks, Convener. Would it possibly be possible or make sense to vary that condition to exclude the flat from not being permitted children?
I'll have to ask yourself there.
To exclude that part of that part of the premises for children to be allowed access to that. I think you probably could, but that's not what's before us.
Presumably that could be done in future if required.
Councillor Brace.
Yeah, it doesn't appear to be an issue for the applicant anyway, in at least the short term, does it? When you...
Councillor Clark.
I suppose in some respects you've brought something up, Convener, that I had missed, and thank you for that. So maybe just a wee bit of clarification here, because we seem to be straying and thinking, and you've just put us right, quite right, to say we're deciding on what's in front of us today. But you have brought up a very valid point. Applicant seems quite clear in what he's doing, but I'm a wee bit in muddy waters at the moment.
Could we...
Yeah, but there's also a question.
There is, but do you want to take 4 at once or do you want to...
I don't mind, go for it.
I think we'll get Councillor Clark's thing. Can we maybe respond to that?
What was the question? Sorry.
I was fine until Convener brought up his very valid point. Now, Mr. Allen seems quite clear in what he's doing, and I'm perfectly okay with that. But that point has been made, and your answer, quite rightly so, was to remind us we're dealing with what we've got, and that's the way my brain works. So I'm fine with that, but this has been added in. This issue of, we've got a separate entry. Our applicant has told us exactly what he's going to be doing, but in my mind now, how on earth am I going to reconcile there could be bairns visiting there?
Thank you. Yeah, sorry. I understand where we're going with that. If the variation, if you're minded to grant the variation as the applicant has submitted, children would not be allowed on licensed premises. The flat would then form part of those licensed premises, so those conditions would apply.
That's helpful to me because I was never in doubt about what Mr Allen was saying or what he had intended, especially when he spoke about getting the contractors with the people working in Montrose. I believe him implicitly for that. That's his business. But just when this was added in, you can imagine it just threw me into a wee bit of, there's muddy waters here now. Thanks. But you've cleared it up. Thanks.
Councillor Gregg.
Thank you, Convener. A bit like Councillor Clark, I'm quite confused and perplexed by this one. So my understanding, having read the paper, is that this is an application for a variation of the pub's licence. And then we've got a separate flat which has separate access and there is no access to the pub. So I'm seeing that as two separate individual units, a flat above a pub. But am I incorrect there? Because I mean, I understand that, yeah, that the flat is directly above the pub and it forms part of the premises licence, but at the same time it's got completely separate access and its own access to the flat and with no access to the pub. So I'm seeing that as two separate buildings. So is it not a case of you sort of remove the flat from the premises licence, or I'm just really confused by it all?
Okay, the application is to vary the operating plan to include the provision of accommodation in the licensed premises. That accommodation would be the flat upstairs, therefore it would incorporate the flat as part of the licensed premises. So the whole thing would be taken as one, regardless of it being a separate access. So it's the provision of accommodation in terms of... So,
Councillor Braze.
Yes, so we're looking at this application before us and not any other hypothetical one. And if we agree to approve this today, then the applicant carries on his business. He can go ahead with his short-term lease in the flat, but children will be excluded. He's stated today that that's not going to be an issue for him. If in the future he changes his business plan and he wants to have children up there, he would have to come to this committee and ask for a variation. Okay. Well, sorry. That's all quite clear to me now.
Yeah, I don't think it's all clear to me. I'm wondering about the implications of it. Because, I mean, in the next paragraph of the LSO report, it says, I presume the applicant seeks to amend the layout plan for the property too. Is that the case? So would the layout plan be changed as well?
There's no change in the layout plan of the pub. The pub's staying exactly the way it's been in the previous operating plan.
Yeah.
It's not for me to offer legal advice to any applicants. However, it would appear that the layout plan would then not be compliant with the operating plan, which is one of the conditions that would be applied to the licence, and that the premises are effectively extended.
I think at this point, if it's okay with people, I think we might ask for a short break to get detailed legal advice. Is that okay?
So John for 5 minutes, convener.
Shall we say 10?
10 minutes?
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Councillor Durno, sorry, I missed you. I'm sorry about that.
That's okay, it's because I'm not there. Just a wee point to make here that I think this is something you're going to have to look at in the future, because I was brought up in above a pub, living in a house above a pub as a child, and there must be hundreds of pubs out there that have got houses above the pubs that children live in. I think maybe this application has just got crossed wires, because obviously if it's going to be letting out the flat, that should be a short-term let licence, and then the pubs downstairs is a pub licence, and I don't know why the whole thing's all been put together. So maybe have a short break and maybe clarify what the situation is, because it seems a bit strange. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for that. So we'll have a...
So we're adjourning for 10 minutes. John, could you stop the live stream, please?
Thank you, everyone, for that pause. We've sought and received legal advice. I would probably like to ask Mr. Allen, do you have anything else that you would like to say to the board?
No, not really.
Okay, thank you for that. I think now I will ask for motions. In fact, I'll probably start with a motion, if that's okay. I move that we defer this application. There are issues in relation to the layout plan, capacity issues, and the description. And I think it would be nice to tidy these up before we actually make a decision. So what we are saying is we're just putting the decision off, in a sense, to get those issues tidied up, and then we will look at it again. Okay, yeah. What we'll do is we'll ask the licensing standard.
You might want to get it agreed first before we say that.
All right, okay, yeah. So that's my motion. Are there any amendments to that motion?
Is there a seconder?
Oh, sorry, seconder. Councillor Whiteside. Any amendments? No amendments. So take it then that is unanimous. Okay, thank you. We've agreed that we will defer a decision on it, and what will happen is we'll ask the Licensing Standards Officer to make contact with you to go over these issues. Okay.
Okay, that's fine, thank you.
I've just been told the next board is the 28th of March, so hopefully we will hear it then. Okay, thank you very much. My mic's not on, I apologise for that. I'll go back to item 5. Personal licences, delegated approvals. Do we agree to note these delegated approvals? Move to item 6, occasional licences, delegated approvals. Do we agree to note these delegated approvals? Oh, sorry, question from Councillor Whiteside.
Sorry, I just had a question. I wondered why Carnoustie Golf Links had so many occasional licences. Do they not have a full licence?
Yes. Yeah, sorry, Councillor. This is for the extension. They have a tuk-tuk truck that they have throughout on the course, and that's to cover that.
Thank you for that clarification. Item 7. These are minor variations, delegated approvals. Do we agree to note these delegated approvals? Item 8, extended hours, delegated approvals. Do we agree to note these delegated approvals?
Question from Councillor Durham.
Oh, sorry. Question from Councillor Durham.
Could I get my dissent noted for the decision for the Central Bar, please? Obviously it's delegated, but I would like it to be noted that I'm not happy about this application being approved till 1 o'clock in the morning. And just on paper, I've not put an amendment or anything in, or I'm just wanted it to be noted as a local councillor.
Thank you, Councillor Durno. It's not possible to note your dissent because it was a delegated decision.
Yeah. Okay, I just wanted to go in the chamber that I wasn't happy with it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Item 8, did I cover item 8? Yep. So we're on to item 9, the Cliffburn Hotel, Cliffburn Road, Arbroath. And Stuart will address this one.
Thank you, Convener. Yes, you'll remember back in December the report that came about the annual fees, and Cliffburn Hotel was the one where members agreed to suspend the licence pending payment of the annual fee. It's come to our attention that in actual fact the company went into administration earlier in the year, 2023. No notification was made to us of that, and nor was there any transfer. Therefore, by operation of law, the licence ceased to exist at that point, so there was no decision that could have been made by this board in December. Therefore, just to update members that actually that licence is effectively gone.
Everybody okay with that update? Thank you. And that is us for the Angus Licensing Board.
John, would you stop the live stream, please?